play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
We are live from inside our San Diego studios. Final score in Atlanta on this Saturday, the Braves 7 and the Padres 1, as the Padres and Braves have split the two games to begin this three-game set, setting up a rubber match of this series tomorrow in Atlanta. Welcome into our Jamul Casino Resort post-game show. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Hey, player, when it comes to giving you what you want, Jamul Casino Resort isn't playing around. It's way more than a place to game. It's a place where you can stay and play in every possible way. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. A lot to do on our post-game coverage. We'll recap this game from start to finish. We'll go back to Truist Park in Atlanta, hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, and much, much more to come. Hope you're enjoying this Memorial Day weekend, whatever you might be doing. Maybe you're at the beach today. Maybe you're cruising around San Diego, whatever it might be. Obviously, the headline before today's game was Michael King scratched due to shoulder stiffness. So King did not make his start today. I'm sure Mike Shildt will get asked about Michael King's status in the postgame. So we'll hear from Mike Shildt, I'm sure, on that in just a little bit. Kevin Acee of the San Diego Union Tribune reporting before the game that Michael King apparently slept a little awkwardly on his shoulder, and that's the reason he was, or at least the Padres and King believe he was experiencing the stiffness. So at the moment, doesn't sound like a big deal, but obviously, just for today's game, put the Padres at a disadvantage with it having to be a bullpen game. We told you the Padres bullpen a little bit shorthanded to begin with. Jason Adam, Robert Suarez pitching 2 days in a row before today. Padres sending right-hander Sean Reynolds to the mound to make the spot start, and it was a bullpen day. So you knew it was going to be tough for the Padres today. So on one hand, you didn't feel great about things heading into the game because you were facing a guy in Grant Holmes who has been pretty good this year. And obviously you were anticipating Michael King, who's been so outstanding for the Padres, to make the start today. Doesn't happen. But with that said, when you actually look at what Sean Reynolds did, and I thought Sean did a good job in this game, 2 2/3 innings, 3 runs he was charged with, Wandy Peralta, Alec Jacob. To their credit, they actually got through 5 innings and 3 runs given up. So treated almost like they made a collective start. Reynolds, Peralta, and Jacob, they got through 5 innings, 3 runs given up, and had the Padres right in this game going into essentially the bottom half of the 6th inning. And we'll get into what happened in the later innings in a recap, and we'll get into how the Padres scored their run in the recap and some of the missed opportunities in various innings the Padres had. But to me, the bottom line from this game, beyond obviously the concern now about Michael King and the fact that the game plan for the Padres pitching-wise totally changed about 30, 40 minutes before this game today, bottom line is this: it was more of the same offensively. Padres had 1 run. They had 6 hits. They went 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They had opportunities early and in the middle part of this game when it was just a 2-run game, a tie game, to score and to cash in. And once again, that was a big-time struggle today. I'll update you on the numbers. Padres have now lost 7 of 8. Obviously, they snapped the 6-game losing skid yesterday, but they've now lost 7 of 8. And in those 8 games, after scoring just a single run today, the Padres have scored a grand total of 12 runs in the last 8 games. And this is the number that is just, hard to fathom right now. The Padres in their last 8 games, after a 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position this afternoon, they're now 3 for 53 with runners in scoring position in this 8-game stretch. That is 0-57 in an 8-game stretch. So, yes, the pitching side of things looked a lot different today. That's nobody's fault. It happens. Sometimes guys, starting pitchers, are going to get scratched for a variety of reasons. And it wasn't a great day for the Padres bullpen to have a game like that because they were without Adam. They were without Robert Suarez, in all likelihood, already pitching back-to-back days. But for a lot of this ball game, it felt winnable. It was there for the Padres. And again, unfortunately, we continue to see the Padres offense either not be able to string hits together, not hit a ton of home runs, and when they have opportunities to get guys in, from scoring position. They're just not doing it very consistently at all right now. Again, just 1 for 10 in those opportunities today. So unfortunately, it really looks similar to what we've seen the last week or so from an offensive standpoint. And another tough one for the Padres here today, any way you slice it. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have a full game recap. We'll also hear from Mike Shildt coming up a little bit later as well. Final score, Braves 7 and the Padres 1 as Atlanta wins the middle game of this 3-game set. Our post-game coverage continues after this on the Padres Radio Network.
Tony Gwynn Jr.
Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Final score, the Braves 7 and the Padres 1 as the Padres dropped to 28-22. The Braves improved to 25-26, setting up the rubber game of this series tomorrow in Atlanta. More on that coming up a little bit later. We'll recap this game from start to finish in a little while as well. But again, big headline of the day, really, aside from the Padres losing this game, was Michael King getting scratched from his start today due to shoulder stiffness. So with that in mind, let's go back to Truist Park in Atlanta. We'll hear post-game reaction from Mike Shildt and also get the latest on Michael King.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Mike, can we first get an update on Michael, kind of what happened, and where do you think he's at going forward here?
Yeah, it's hard to say where he's exactly at. We want to stay ahead of it. You know, we could have pushed today for him to go out, take the ball, but that would have been a push. Woke up sometime early morning to late morning, and just felt like he slept on it wrong, and just had strength, just sore, and so he got treatment, and it did get better, and threw a little bit of the plyo balls, but still felt it, and again, we'll see as time unfolds. We've been down the road where we say, yeah, this is going to be a day-to-day, and it happens longer, but we do believe it's not anything overly serious. He played catch yesterday without any issues, recovered fine, ready to go for a start today. But, like I said, slept on it and woke up and just couldn't get the discomfort out. So obviously we made what I think was really a smart decision to be certain about this, not push him, and that's what we know.
Seemed like early, other than obviously the home run there at the end, Sean was just undone by a bunch of soft hits. What did you see from Sean?
Man, listen, to start with, I got to tell you, you go in, we get a chance to win a series, and then, one of your guys, isn't able to post, and understandably. And, man, I got to tell you, I couldn't have been more pleased with the vibe and the reaction out of this clubhouse. Hitters were like, yeah, let's go. Bullpen was like, let's make this happen. Guys buckled down. Sean took the ball and was ready to get after it. And I thought he did. I threw the ball well, and the walk leading up to it, heard him a little earlier, hit by pitch, and got him in the first. And then after that, double play ball to Ozuna, and then, Olsen and Riley put a good swing on him. He's right there at his kind of limit. You're in those games where you're taking guys to their limit, your balancing act between not only their health, the next guy's health, and then the actual game itself. And but I thought Sean did a great job. Wani came in, did what he could do, and kept it there. And Alec made a pitch to a guy that's swinging the bat well, and Acuna, and but again, some free pass before that for the damage. But and Yuki got through his work to get us through it.
When did Sean know he was going to get the start?
We gave him a heads up once we realized that Michael. There's a possibility, but we weren't certain about Michael yet. So that was probably, 1:30-ish, 1:45, and just put it on his radar at that point that it may happen. And then around, a little after 3 o'clock is when the decision got made.
You mentioned Wandy already, but I think give you good 2 innings there. It kind of save you from having to use as many arms.
Yeah, listen, we had a lot of plans coming into the game. We were going to stay away from Suarez. He was down. Morjon was in like a triple emergency kind of extra inning deal. Adam would have been on his 3rd day in a row. Estrada had 1 in him. Those guys being able to get through it with the 4 guys, and it was a competitive game until a little bit at the end. But it sets us up more for tomorrow with Cease going and those guys getting back available.
It's a bullpen game, especially with those restrictions that you just sort of outlined, who's available. Does it just have to fall almost perfectly?
It's different. You're not going to go into a game. If you schedule a bullpen game, you wouldn't schedule like that. You wouldn't schedule with basically 4 guys down and most of your high leverage guys. You wouldn't. You could. I don't know. Bullpen games have their place if you have a rested bullpen. But we're in the middle of 9 games in a row, and extra innings 2 days ago, and so it wasn't the most ideal time for it, but we were able to navigate it, compete, and like I said, hats off to Sean and Wandy and Alec and Yuki. They did their part, and again, outside of a couple hit by pitches or walks leading into some damage, it's a little different ball game, but they happened.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after this 7-1 loss for the Padres in Atlanta today. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios as we continue to wrap this one up. I actually agree with Mike Shildt. I thought, considering the limitations the Padres had in an unplanned bullpen day, I actually thought the pen did a nice job in this game. I know you're going to look at 7 runs on 13 hits and see that and be like, well, it's hard to win a game if you give up 7 runs on 13 hits, and you're not incorrect. However, you really look at it, the Padres, between Reynolds, Peralta, and Jacob, got through the 5th inning with just 3 runs given up. Padres were right in this game. And if the Padres, say, score more runs and somehow have a lead going into that 6th inning, later innings, then you could have gone to guys like Morejon, Estrada. I mean, there still were high leverage guys that would have been available, but because they were trailing, they went to Alec Jacob, who gives up the home run in the 6th inning to Acuna, and then puts on base runners in the 7th inning, and the game sort of got away. But I thought the bullpen, all things considered, considering some pretty difficult circumstances, did a nice job in this game, at least trying to keep the Padres in it. They weren't perfect, but I don't know that you could expect the bullpen as a whole to be perfect under those circumstances, and with an unplanned bullpen day. And again, Padres only scored 1 run on 6 hits. So anytime you're not producing offensively the way the Padres aren't right now, it's going to be very hard to win games, and a tough one today for the Padres as they fall 7-1. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll recap this one from start to finish. We'll have our full out-of-town scoreboard coming up a little bit later as well. Final score, Atlanta 7, San Diego 1. Our post-game coverage continues after this. Welcome back into our Jamul Casino Resort post-game show, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we continue to wrap up today's game in Atlanta. Still a lot to do. We'll give you the full out-of-town scoreboard, get to our daily awards. If you want to get a phone call in to discuss today's game, you can do that by dialing 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. As always, if you want to get involved on social media, you can do that as well. Find me on X at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. Instagram DMs open as well. Sammy Lev there too. Same spelling, same handle. And you can also comment on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube stream if you would rather watch our post-game coverage. Let's recap today's game from start to finish.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, we found out shortly before today's game that Michael King would not make his start. He was scratched because of right shoulder stiffness. So instead, Sean Reynolds took the mound in the bottom of the first inning in what became a bullpen game for the Padres. Reynolds gave up a couple of one-out singles, but pitched a scoreless opening frame. In the bottom of the second, he hit Alex Verdugo to start the inning. Verdugo was on third base with 2 men away for the Braves' number 9 batter, Nick Allen.
2-2 pitch from Reynolds, swung on, grounded slowly towards third base. Manny gonna let it roll, and it hits the bag. Infield hit, Nick Allen. Verdugo comes in to score, and the Braves take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, unlucky break there for Sean Reynolds. A 90-foot roller up the third base line. It hit the bag. It gave the Braves a 1-0 lead. Padres answered in the top of the third against Braves starter Grant Holmes. Brandon Lockridge was at second base with 2 men away for Manny Machado.
1-0 to Machado, lined it to center field. That's going to get down at a base hit. Harris gets to it. He'll have to send it into second base as Lockridge speeds home. It's an RBI single for Manny Machado. Already his second hit of the day, and we're tied 1-1 here in the third.
But we weren't tied for long. Matt Olson dug in against Reynolds in the bottom half.
1-0 to Olson in the air to deep left field. Lockridge twisting and turning back at the wall. It's going to go into the second row over the left field fence. And a 2-out homer for Matt Olson here in the bottom of the third inning has given the Braves the lead back. It's 2-1.
Austin Riley then hit a double. Reynolds came out of the game at 57 pitches, replaced by Wandy Peralta. A single sent Riley to third. That set things up for Ozzie Albies.
1-1 pitch. Albies swings, reaches for it, grounds it slowly to third base. Manny, bare hand from the grass, throws not in time. Another infield hit to get another run home, and it's 3-1 Atlanta.
It stayed 3-1 for a while. Peralta pitched the scoreless fourth inning. Peralta and Alec Jacob combined for a scoreless fifth inning. The Padres had a great scoring chance at the top of the sixth inning, trailing by 2. Runners on first and second with nobody out, but Holmes retired Xander Bogaerts, Gavin Sheets, and Jake Cronenworth to end the inning. Padres still trail 3-1, going bottom 6. Alec Jacob on the mound. He issued a 1-out walk to Nick Allen. That was trouble because Ronald Acuna Jr. was next.
0-1 pitch. And that is launched to deep left field. Oh, my goodness. Lockridge is back. He's at the wall. He's got no shot at all. Well into the stands in left field. And for the second consecutive game, Ronald Acuna has gone deep. This one a 2-run homer, and it makes it 5-1 Braves in the bottom of the sixth inning.
Yeah, 2 games, 2 home runs for Ronald Acuna Jr. so far in 2025. He is quite a player. 2 home runs already as he began his season yesterday, made it a 5-1 game. Grant Holmes would go 7 innings, 1 earned run given up, 6 hits in his start for the Braves. He would leave in line for the win. Braves would tack on in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Alec Jacob hitting a batter, allowing a single, allowing another single. Yuki Matsui came in, gave up a 2-run single to Michael Harris the second. That made it 7-1, and that was about the whole story in this one. Aniel De Los Santos, Scott Blewett, scoreless innings in the 8th and 9th for the Braves, and they win it here today by a final score of 7-1. Padres dropped to 28-22. Braves improved to 25-26. Atlanta, 7 runs, 13 hits, no errors, and San Diego had 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors. Sean Reynolds took the loss. He's now 0-1. Grant Holmes, the winner, he improves to 3-3. And we said earlier that you really look at it, what the Padres did in a bullpen game today, what became a bullpen game after King was scratched. You know, again, Sean Reynolds, Wandy Peralta, Alec Jacob, they got this game through 5 innings in a very winnable position for the Padres, trailing only 3-1. And as you heard during the recap there, not only did they do that, but they also got a little unlucky. Nick Allen rolls 190 feet that just stays fair up the third base side. That brought in the first run for Atlanta. Then the third run after the Olson home run comes on an Ozzie Albies infield single, and Manny did about all he could on a slow roller left of the mound to barehand it, made a good throw to first base. Albies, who runs well, beats it out, run comes in. So there was a little bit of unluckiness there as well. And again, I think you look at this game, it is really hard to me to put it on the pitching. It really, really is. They were put in a tough spot today. I thought they did a nice job for a good chunk of this game and keeping it close. And again, the Padres only had one run, and the offense continues to be an issue and scoring runs right now for the Padres, despite winning yesterday, getting 2 on a couple of solo home runs. Run production is very hard for the Padres to come by, especially in these last 8 games. We'll see if they can get the offense going tomorrow. We'll have more on tomorrow's game coming up a little bit later. When we come back, we'll continue to break this one down. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up later as well. Phone number to call if you want to get involved, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Final score, Braves 7, Padres 1. Our post-game coverage continues after these words. Our post-game coverage continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score, Braves 7 and the Padres 1 as the Padres fall in the middle game of this 3-game set. Padres will wrap up this 6-game road trip, try to win a series tomorrow against the Braves. Rubber match of this 3-game set tomorrow afternoon. We'll have more on that ball game coming up a little bit later on. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we continue to wrap this one up. We'll take a look at some of the positives, the silver linings from this ball game in just a moment. Before we do that, a couple of issues today for the Padres at the top of their lineup. We talked about the Padres only scoring 1 run on 6 hits in this game, and the issues with runners in scoring position continuing 1 for 10 with RISP. Padres have only scored 12 runs total in their last 8 games. And oh, by the way, that included scoring 6 on Thursday in Toronto. So the other 7 combined, they've only scored 6 runs in the other 7 games of this 8-game stretch. So the offensive struggles continued today. Fernando Tatis Jr. took an 0 for 4 at the top of the lineup. Fernando's rough month of May continues. His average in May now in 78 at-bats. It's all the way down to 192. How about this? The OPS is at 664 for Nando. So after what was just a stellar month of April where he hit 323, a 981 OPS, it's been a rough month of May for Nando, so hopefully he can get it going here soon. Luis Arraez took a second straight 0 for 3 yesterday, snapped a 9-game skid. He was 0 for 5 today, so a couple of rare 0-fers for Luis Arraez the last couple of days. Offensively, the positives were this. Manny Machado had 2 more hits in this game, including an RBI single in the third to make it 1-1. So Manny had the home run in yesterday's game. He did have a couple of hits on Thursday as well. Let me just pull up Manny's game log here to refresh my memory. Yeah, he had 2 hits on Wednesday, on Wednesday in Toronto, had 2 hits, including the go-ahead home run in the 9th inning yesterday, 2 hits here today. So he does have 6 hits in his last 4 games now, so hopefully that's a sign of Manny starting to get going again. Jackson Merrill had a couple of hits in this game. He is slowly starting to hit the ball better, did take an over yesterday, did have 2 hits in the game on Thursday against the Blue Jays, so that's more productive than he's been in the days leading up to Thursday. So 2 more hits for Jackson. Hopefully that's a sign of things for come to him. Xander Bogaerts 0 for 4 today. Gavin Sheets 0 for 4 today. And again, you can point out, each guy and go through it. But when you're not scoring like the way the Padres aren't scoring right now, and you're having this kind of trouble with runners in scoring position, it is not just on one guy. It just isn't. Would it help if Fernando was hitting better at the top of the lineup? Of course. Would it help? If Manny, Jackson, Xander, Jake, if they were all red hot, of course. But when you're having these kinds of issues scoring to the magnitude the Padres are right now, it's not about one person. I mean, it's about everybody. So we'll see if the Padres can get it going offensively tomorrow. Certainly hope so. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Our relief pitcher of the game. We could go a few different ways with this. I am going to keep it on the Padres side of things. The 2 guys that weren't charged with runs in this bullpen game, Wandy Peralta, who got 6 outs from the 3rd through the 5th. Yuki Matsui wasn't charged with a run, but he did give up that 2-run single to Michael Harris the second to make it a 7-1 game. Alec Jacob charged with those runs. I'll tell you, I am really compelled to just give it to Sean Reynolds today because I thought he was put in a tough spot. I mean, making a spot start. And look, he did a pretty nice job. He really did. 2 2/3 innings, gave up 3 runs, was charged with 3 runs. But you really look at it, one of the runs came in on that 90-foot roller off the bat of Nick Allen. One of the runs came in on an infield single for Ozzy Albies with Wandy Peralta already on the mound, and the run was charged against Sean Reynolds. So it really could have been even better. He threw 57 pitches, and quite frankly, Sean did the job I think he needed to do today, which was give the Padres some length. Threw 57 pitches, the most he had thrown in a major league outing this season was 42. So he extended himself, well beyond where he's been so far this year. And I thought he did a pretty nice job, all things considered. So today, a little bit different with our relief pitcher of the game. We'll give it to Sean Reynolds, who I thought did a serviceable job in a pretty tough spot here today as Michael King got scratched with the shoulder stiffness. And again, we heard from Mike Shildt after the game. King apparently sleeping awkwardly on that shoulder. Couldn't get the discomfort out today. Doesn't sound like the Padres are overly concerned, but look, anytime, no matter for what reason, you hear, shoulder or elbow, anything with a star pitcher, you don't feel great about it. And I guess the good news, based on what Mike Shildt said, was that Michael King apparently played catch yesterday and had no issues. So this isn't something that was lingering with him and in the lead up to this start. This sounds like something that he literally woke up with this morning. So hopefully it's just a bit of a, he slept on it wrong and can be back in this rotation very soon here. But look, bullpen was put in a really, really tough spot today. And I thought Sean Reynolds did a serviceable job, kept his team in the game, could have been even better had he got a little bit more lucky. So Sean Reynolds, our relief pitcher of the game. Let's hear today's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
Bottom of the third inning. And a ground ball kicks off the mound, backhanded by Cronenworth, feeds Bogarts one, on to first in time, and a double play.
That was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, really nice double play ball off the bat of Marcelo Zuna. Turn 4-6-3. Cronenworth to Bogarts to arise in the third. Erased the leadoff runner in Drake Baldwin, and just a really nice double play. If you saw this on TV, Cronenworth going behind the bag at second and then threw sort of a leading pass to Xander Bogaerts, who got it, stepped on the bag, made a really good throw to first base, and a really, really pretty double play. It was well done. And at that time, tell you what, Matt Olson, after that double play, hit a home run. So if they don't get both runners on that double play, instead of it being a solo home run for Olson, it's a 2-run home run, a 3-run home run for Olson in that spot. So you consider that, and really was a big play early in this game. Unfortunately, it didn't help the Padres win this game as they fall 7-1, but really nice double play turn by Cronenworth and Bogarts back in the third inning with Sean Reynolds on the mound. When we come back, we'll take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow's series finale in Atlanta. If you want to get a phone call in, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call, 833-288-0973. The phone number to dial if you want to get involved. Atlanta wins it 7-1 on this Saturday. Our post-game coverage continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Final score, the Braves 7 and the Padres 1, as the Braves even up this 3-game set at a game apiece, setting up the rubber game of this 3-game series tomorrow. We'll have a full preview of tomorrow's game coming up in just a little bit. By the way, if you missed it before today's game, Padres did make a transaction. It was a pretty newsy morning into early afternoon for the Padres, with Michael King getting scratched from his start today with right shoulder stiffness, and it became a bullpen game for the Padres. But the Padres also put Jason Hayward on the 10-day injured list with a left oblique strain, and they recalled Luis Campusano from AAA El Paso. Campusano did have a plate appearance in this game in the 9th inning, pinch hit for Brandon Lockridge and did walk, which is something that Luis actually did quite a bit his first turn in the major leagues this season. So we'll see what the role is here moving forward for Luis Campusano, if he DHs, if he does any catching, if he plays any first base. But you should expect Campusano to get in there from time to time at least while he's up in the major leagues. So Campy now back in the major leagues. And again, Jason Hayward put on the IL earlier today. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, tell you what's going on around the majors.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a doubleheader today at Fenway Park. The Red Sox beat the Orioles 6-5 in 10 in Game 1 of that doubleheader. Game 2 of that doubleheader underway right now. 4th inning at Fenway, no score between the Red Sox and the Orioles. Other games going on right now. Rays ahead of the Blue Jays 3-0 in Tampa Bay in the 2nd. Tigers ahead of the Guardians 3-0 in Detroit in the 1st inning. Dodgers and the Mets are scoreless in New York in the 2nd. Everything else is coming up later if it hasn't gone final already. Phillies and the A's in Sacramento at 7:05. Marlins and the Angels at 7:07 in Anaheim. The other finals today, Twins beat the Royals 5-4 in Minnesota earlier today. Brooks Lee won that game in the bottom half of the 9th inning for Minnesota. Lee, a walk-off single to win it for the Twins. Cardinals beat the Diamondbacks 6-5 in St. Louis. Jordan Walker, a go-ahead 2-run double for St. Louis in the 7th inning in that one as the Cards win it. Pirates beat the Brewers 2-1 in Pittsburgh. Nationals beat the Giants 3-0 in D.C. James Wood, a home run in that one for the Nats. Reds beat the Cubs 6-4 in Cincinnati. Ellie De La Cruz hitting his 9th home run of the season in that win for Cincy. Astros beat the Mariners 2-1 in Houston today. The White Sox beat the Rangers 10-5 in Chicago. And finally, the Yankees beat the Rockies 13-1 in Denver earlier today. Rockies won yesterday. Couldn't make it 2 in a row against the Yanks. The Yankees 13, Rockies 1. Home runs in that game for Aaron Judge. His 18th of the season, only home run in that game as Judge goes deep. And that's a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Saturday. Final score in Atlanta today, the Braves 7 and the Padres 1. Let's hear today's play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
A 1 pitch, and that is launched to deep left field. Oh, my goodness. Lockridge is back. He's at the wall. He's got no shot at all. Well into the stands in left field. And for the 2nd consecutive game, Ronald Acuna has gone deep. This one a 2-run homer, and it makes it 5-1 Braves in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Our play of the game, the Ronald Acuna Jr. home run, a 2-run shot, his 2nd in as many days. That came in the 6th inning. Made it a 5-1 game, really changed the tenor of this game. It was a close game. You felt like the Padres had an opportunity to come back and win it, but Acuna hitting the 2-run home run, already his 2nd of the season in 2 games. We'll see if Acuna plays tomorrow, how much the Braves want to limit his workload as he comes back from his 2nd ACL tear. Wouldn't be shocked if he's not on the lineup tomorrow. You never know. We'll see, but it's going to be hard to keep him out of the lineup with the way he's playing as he's come back. 2 home runs already, and add that 2-run home run in the 6th inning to make it 5-1, our play of today's game. And as always, gives us no great pleasure to be handing out play of the game to the opposition, but sometimes that's just the way it's got to go. It's been that kind of stretch for the Padres as of late, as the Padres have lost 7 of their last 8 games. And again, we talked about the issues with runners in scoring position. You really circled to me 2 key innings in this game. Padres trailing 3-1, had runners on first and second, nobody out in the 6th inning. Holmes retiring Bogart, Sheets, and Cronenworth in a row to end the inning. Padres had a runner on second base, nobody out in the 7th inning, trailing 5-1 after Elias Diaz hit a leadoff double. And after that, it was Holmes retiring Lockridge, Tatis, and Arise 1-2-3 to get out of the inning. So in that sequence alone, the 6th and 7th, Padres went 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position in those 2 innings. Kind of indicative of the way it's going right now offensively, but we'll see if the Padres can get the offense going tomorrow. Remember, on this Memorial Day weekend, that after tomorrow's game at 1:10 p.m., we'll have the pitching matchup for you in a second. Padres return home on Monday, on Memorial Day. So they're away tomorrow, but they're back home on this long weekend on Monday. 5:40 p.m. first pitch on Monday against the Marlins. Padres then play the Marlins Tuesday night. Wednesday afternoon game, day off Thursday, and then a 3-game series Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against the Pirates. So tomorrow will be the end of this 6-game road trip to Toronto and Atlanta. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage today, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts. If you would rather go watch any portion of our post-game coverage on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel, you can do that there as well. And by the way, I should mention on Tuesday, May 27th against the Marlins, this upcoming Tuesday, Padres giving away a military hoodie presented by Soapy Joe's. And it is a really cool giveaway going to the first 40,000 fans in attendance at Petco Park on Tuesday. If you want to see the giveaway, I posted it to my Instagram story. It's Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV, earlier today. So go check out that military hoodie, and it's a great giveaway on Tuesday, just so you know. Taking a look ahead to the rubber game of this series tomorrow. It'll be a 1:10 p.m. first pitch here on the West Coast tomorrow. Right-hander Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound for the Braves tomorrow. Right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. Again, first pitch tomorrow at 1:10 p.m. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show will begin at 12:10. Taking a look at the final totals here today for the Braves. 7 runs, 13 hits, no errors. They left on 10. For the Padres, 1 run, 6 hits, no errors. They left on 10 as well. Winning pitcher in this game was Grant Holmes, who improves to 3-3. Losing pitcher was Sean Reynolds, who drops to 0-1. Time of game, 2 hours and 32 minutes. And the crowd at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia, 41,338. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 1:10 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 12:10. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Bobby Sharton, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long from inside our San Diego studios. Again, the final score today, the Atlanta Braves 7 and the San Diego Padres 1. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great rest of your Saturday.